listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast, a Texas Tech athletics podcast where food and sports clash at the goal line. Here are your hosts, Spencer and Michael.
All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 23 Personnel Podcast. I am your host, Spencer, joined by Michael. Michael, what's up, man?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I am enjoying everything that the spring has to offer. We're in the good part of spring right now. We are out of dirt storms and in between hailstorms.
You better knock on wood there, brother.
No, that's not what I meant. We are in between hailstorms and dirt storms. It's a good place to be. How are you?
Doing well. Just got back from a quick little long weekend vacation to the beach. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
All right. Beaches of Cheyenne up in Wyoming.
The beaches of the Texas Gulf Coast.
There you go.
I mean,
If
you're gonna go to the beach, where else would you go but the great state of Texas?
Beaches of Cheyenne is a Garth Brooks deep cut. I consider it a deep cut. Some may not, but it's a haunting song about a widowed woman of a rodeo participant who. Wait, or did she die? I don't remember. There's a ghost involved. Walking the beaches of Cheyenne, which it must be some metaphor. I'm not smart enough to get it. Sometimes Garth is beyond my brain comprehension.
Well, it's all over my head.
To everybody.
I couldn't tell you anything about it because I don't know. I didn't get that reference. So tonight we are, or whenever you're listening, because we're not discriminatory when you decide to pick up the old podcast machine. Whenever you choose to consume said episode of 23 Personnel Podcast, we are talking football portal roster updates, as there are some to share. There was an NFL draft since we last talked. Spoken.
That's right. That's true.
2 Red Raiders were drafted. 5 more have ended up on rosters, unless I missed somebody. Sorry, not rosters, but camp invites, free agent signings, that type of thing. Get to the round ball roster update. There was a big man addition to talk about. A couple of your big men on the way out have landed at new places we'll talk about. And then a hard ball update, although technically one of the hard balls is a softball, although it's not actually soft.
I've never understood that.
It's just a bigger ball.
It
Baseball, softball, Big 12 champs. That's where we want to focus on, is conference championship winning teams of our Red Raiders. Will not be the baseball team. Sorry about you. And then questions and what do we learn? As we are one to do, there will probably be food discussed. I'm looking down the what do we learn. Michael's got us queued up for there. So I also will have a food take. My tastes are a changing, Michael. I'm not a chicken strip man at the restaurant anymore. Although I never really was, but
look at this.
All right.
Look at this. This is breaking news. This is truly breaking news. Sorry that we're gonna
bury the lead.
That and put that at the last 20 minutes. So fast forward now, if you want to just get to the meat of the episode.
Skip forward to hour 15.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, not hour number 15, but an hour and 15 minutes. We will start football though, Michael. Portal roster updates. It's hard to believe this has changed since we last discussed, but the Micah Hudson saga has come to a close with his glorious rejoining of the Red Raider football team. Welcome home. like he never
Yeah.
left.
This is where those of you watching live, I've got redemption season as my title today, and it's all because of Mr. Hudson. Welcome back, young man. Let's see what
I
you can
don't
do. See what you can do in the gridiron.
I
Thanks
don't
for
know if
roughing up a few Aggies on the way
yeah,
in
that's where I was
between.
going. I don't know if that aspect of that I mean, the lore is going to be out there whether he did or not. The story is he got down there, took in one practice, punched an Aggie quarterback and left. Hopefully cash some checks along the way, some Aggie checks. Because that would just be icing for Red Raiders.
Well, and one thing about the Aggies is their checks don't bounce.
Nope.
They're usually good for it. So that's
Hey,
good.
Red Raider
Good for
checks don't
him.
bounce anymore either.
They absolutely
Anymore,
do
but
not. No,
not
they
that I'm
don't.
saying we were in any kind of trouble, but so much so that I'm sure you saw this. Signetti, or whatever his name is, Kurt, the Indiana football coach, um, complaining about NIL rosters and saying all these teams are buying rosters. Like, well, kind of the name of the game now. Um, let's not forget that like he decimated the roster when he left his school and brought it with him to Indiana. But now that it's not, 100% favoring him, he's against it.
Oh, sure.
Things
That's how
things
it
are wrong.
always goes. The hypocrisy knows no bounds in the coaching profession, it appears, especially in college football.
But anyways, Michael Hudson coming back to Texas Tech. You also picked up a wide receiver from Incarnate Word, Roy Alexander, 1,000-yard guy last season. So there was no overlap between Leftwich and Alexander at Incarnate Word, nor is there any overlap with Alexander and Cam Ward. However, you get a seasoned guy, will be at the very least veteran depth, an old guy in the wide receiver room. Love that. I don't know if we talked about it or not, but at the very least mentioned that it was a possibility. But offensive line transfer from Colorado has made it official. Cash Cleveland, gotta love that name. In the NIL era, was the starting center for the Buffaloes. I don't know if he'll be a starter at Texas Tech, but has years of eligibility left, so we'll have that opportunity in front of him. Again, adding more experience and depth along the line, so it's fantastic news. And then, since we last spoke, the portal window has closed in the sense that like you can no longer put your name in the portal. Not that all these guys can't land somewhere now, but since then, guys that left Texas Tech that have now committed to places include offensive lineman Nick Fattig, committed to Stanford, Dylan Shaw headed to North Texas, defensive back safety Jordan Sanford headed to Cal, defensive end Joseph Adedire headed to NC State. Adedire, and then these next guys are going to be guys that have hit the portal since we last recorded. So defensive end, Joseph Adedire, defensive end, Isaiah Crawford. I believe he was at a post, right? I think he was a 4-star at a post. Running back, Cameron Valdez. Wide receiver, LJ Johnson. He has since committed to Texas State. And then defensive back, Isaiah Collins. So do you love that you lost these guys? No, Adedire, Sanford, Shaw, Fattig have been key depth pieces, contributors at some points throughout their career at Texas Tech. Adedire going so far to say that he would love to have the opportunity to come back to Texas Tech. But thus is life when you portal as hard as you did in December and now in April. We had a whole section of Micah Hudson, but like I said, he has since committed to the Red Raiders, recommitted, bounced back, boomerang, if you will. The draft happened after we last recorded, Michael. Caleb Rogers taking in the 3rd round, Taj Brooks in the 6th, and then Josh Kelly, CJ Baskerville, Mason Tharp, Braylon Lux, Jalen Conyers, all since signed some kind of free agent, undrafted mini camp deals to bring them in to get their shot at an NFL roster this fall. I was surprised. I don't know what your initial impression was on Caleb Rogers. One, going first in the draft from the Red Raiders, but going as high as the 3rd round. I was not expecting that at all. I thought he and Conyers may have been up there for earliest off the board. Not that I don't think Brooks would have been highly rated. It's just that we've seen the NFL kind of just undervalue running backs, or at least in the sense that like you get a running back only for a few years because they just run them into the ground. So they have a really short shelf life. And so they've kind of, the market value on a running back has been depleted. All that to say, I was just not expecting Rodgers to be first. Not that he was bad. Obviously, he was good. 3rd round, good. So,
Well, I agree. I mean, I think that kind of shows how the NFL evaluates talent. It's kind of mind-boggling to me.
You said it. We got to talk about Sanders at some point too.
Well, not just Sanders, but I mean, I was going with Tyler Shuck.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
drafted. Let's see, when he was drafted by the Saints in the 2nd round. Did you think Tyler Shuck was a 2nd round draft pick as he was?
No, especially with that
in Texas Tech.
That combine video where he like, I don't know what that, why whoever released that video was doing Shuck no favors, because that wasn't the only throw he's made, but the throw that makes it on the internet is, I mean, one that makes his accuracy called terribly into question. And that was one of the first quarterbacks off the board. I mean, obviously not like Cam Ward, but after Cam Ward, he goes in the 2nd round. It's like, good gravy.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to throw. It was just surprising. I will say it was surprising,
Yes.
And that was why I thought Conyers would end up way higher than he was, just because the NFL is just infatuated with stats and arm lengths and
hand sizes.
and broad jumps and whatever else. So I really thought that he would grade a lot higher because of that. So yeah, but between Rodgers and Shuck, I think those are kind of the two that, at least Texas Tech related, surprised me the most, being taken as fast as they were. I agree with you on Brooks. I think Brooks is fantastic, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of people, but it's not fair to him. But I do think the Big 12, especially now that OU and Texas are out, they've never really valued Big 12 running backs that highly, unless they played for OU or Texas. And a lot of times that was warranted, but that was really all that people ever really cared about that I could remember. So I'm not surprised that he went when he did, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's where he should have gone. I think he's going to do really well. I hope, at least well enough to kick it around for a few years, and maybe he'll get a starting job and get a chance to prove himself and hopefully deliver when that time comes.
Yeah. As lifelong victims of the Dallas Cowboys, do you want to touch on their draft night? Seemingly did well. Optimistic, cautiously optimistic. everybody, I mean, as Jerry Johnson,
Jerry Johnson, Jimmy Jones.
Jimmy Jones, Jerry Jones is one to do. Starts off the Cowboys draft with an offensive lineman. He's done really well doing that. I mean, they've had a pretty good offensive line since they started doing that the past, I don't know what, 10 years or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
They've been really committed to that, but maybe the surprise, I don't know, surprise, but like for me, not following the draft close and not like paying super close attention to what the Cowboys needed or wanted to do when they took Texas running back Jaden Blue. That was interesting. And then like everybody falling in love with this pick. I'm like, huh. We also know that like Jones is he's got a regional bias. And one that's helped Texas Tech. I mean,
Yes.
I'm not gonna say that that's not how they landed Terrence Steele.
Yeah, I mean we're talking Oklahoma State. Yeah, it's
The Sooners, the
yes,
Razorbacks. Like
you bet.
it's not
I
been
love
like,
that.
oh, yeah,
that's like my favorite thing about him is the fact that he knows these players from. Hey, we got to look at that kid from Oklahoma State or whatever. We got to look at that kid from Texas Tech. There's some there they know and man, it works. I don't know if it's pandering or if they truly want these guys or what, but it gets me.
yeah. So they took let's see. Sorry. I had this up. Tyler Booker and the second round, right?
No, he was first round.
First round, 12th pick. There it is.
Yeah.
Offensive guard from Alabama. I was looking at, he's the second rated guard. Then they took Boston College edge player Donovan Ezeraku. I'm not gonna try that again. East Carolina cornerback Siobhan Ravel, Jaden Blue. And they took Shamar James, their linebacker out of Florida, in the 5th round. Tackle from Oregon, Ajani Cornelius. Defensive tackle from UCLA, Jay Toya. Running back Phil Maffa from Clemson. And I'm not going to try to pronounce defensive tackle from Maryland, but Tommy A. Just gonna give you the initial there. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course you do. A King Basode? Does that sound possible?
Yes, that sounds likely.
Okay.
Also, somehow forgot that the Cowboys have a new coaching staff.
You completely do. I know. I was talking to someone about that at work this week, and I couldn't even come up with his name.
I only saw like I only can tell you it's Schottenheimer because I saw it literally
that's right.
seconds ago. But anywho's, that's all on the draft I got. I didn't follow anybody specifically. Let's do basketball real quick. The Red Raiders landed a big man from VCU, Luke Bamboye, 6'10", 190. He's a little rail of a guy, but one of the best shot blockers out there. Many are saying he will be your best shot blocker since Tariq Owens. And I don't mean to downplay the significance and impact of Tariq Owens, but that's not really saying a whole lot because of the lack of shot blocking you've experienced since Tariq Owens. But would love to have a big man on the roster, especially when you lost Fetty. You thought you'd be able to retain him. You would have loved to retain him. He's heading to A&M. Don't love that, but I don't hate it. Not like he's gonna, burn you. Not gonna do anything big against you. So
is there still time for him to like get in a fist fight with a point guard and come back? Right.
It's true. He can pull he can pull a Micah Hudson. Go down there, cash an NIL check, hit back in the portal, and bounce back. But So yeah, your transfer class. Um, I mean, I don't want to say it includes Christian Anderson and JT Toppin. Those are guys that are obviously on your roster, but obviously that were evaluated uh, as the season came to a close. But Santa Clara guard Tyree Bryan, Washington State forward Lawan Watts, Villanova forward Josiah Mosley, and UNC Greensboro. My
Green,
goodness.
yeah,
I knew it was Green something.
I
UNC
did too.
Green. I was like Greenswell, Greensboro, Greenswood,
Greensville's what I wanted to say.
Greenville, Greensville. Donovan Atwell, Nolan Groves, the Minnesota Gatorade Player of the Year, and then Luke Bemboye. Portal out. We talked about Kevin Overton headed to Auburn. We just mentioned Fetty going to A&M. EY headed to Washington State. So you got a clean trade there. Sending EY up to the Cougars for Lawan Watts. I think we won that trade. Then Corbin Green still trying to find his landing spot. So I don't have any hard hitting analysis. If you want that, you need to check out Mainville.
Yeah,
Except for his pronunciation of Bamboye. He's still working on it.
Hey, I'm not going to say a word. I'm the worst at pronouncing.
Oh, I just butchered
anything.
A couple of the guys.
You're really good at it though. You do a nice job. I think you give yourself too much.
Well, I was talking about the Cowboys roster.
Yeah, that one was rough. But if you'll notice, I didn't even attempt anything until the last one, just because I thought, well, you felt bad about mispronouncing that edge rusher, so I'll butcher this one on your behalf.
Well, you nailed it.
Thank you.
Let's do baseball. We're just rolling right on through. Sorry. 16-28 thus far in the season.
Sounds bad.
Well, it's not good. 11-13 in the Big 12, so not terrible. 2 games under 500. You are, I just saw the standings, not in last place. You are not. I have to go back and look at it. Give me 2 seconds to pull this up. All right, standings. You are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th. You are 7 games out of first place. West Virginia holds that at 18-4. And 6 games out of Utah in last place. So
right in the happy middle.
Right in the middle.
Well, the good news is next 2 opponents, Big 12 opponents at least, are a combined 13-35 in Big 12 play. So Texas Tech has some room to distance themselves from that Big 12 tournament cutoff, at least, of 12 teams playing BYU and UCF.
Do we really care to work ourselves into the Big 12 tournament? Or just like
no.
This is our postseason play. Like, this is our shot. I hate to say it.
Because if that's it, if they win the Big 12 tournament, then obviously they will land a spot somewhere in a regional, and I think that's the only way that's even remotely possible of happening. And a lot has to go right, because now it's single elimination, and so it's not 2 games and you're out. It's just if you lose, you're gone.
1 in queue.
And yep. Yeah, that's right. And so you'd have to win, gosh, I don't know, 5 games in a row, I think.
It's not unheard of, but.
Well, this season, it kind of is.
Well, you just hush your mouth. Michael, I don't know if you asked this question, if you saw the question and you thought you wanted to bring it up. Question came up. Has Ted Luck ever had a winning Big 12 record with a losing non-con? I did not go beyond his career before coming to Texas Tech, but no, he's not done that at Texas Tech. ever. So he doesn't currently have a winning Big 12 record, but you pointed out you have a great shot to get above 500 with your next two opponents. Your non-conference record is abysmal, and that's not going to change. You got swept by UT RGV in the midweek last week.
Yes.
Combined, you were outscored 20-8. After winning the series against the number 16 Arizona Wildcats,
Which I got to witness on Sunday. Fantastic day for some baseball.
and then you went on the road to West Virginia, first place in the Big 12, took game 1, lost game 2 by a sole run. That sucked. And then you lost on Sunday by 5.
Right. And I think West Virginia is still doing that thing where they pitch their best pitcher on game 3. So, yeah, Tech lost 5-0 on Sunday. Couldn't play to run.
Yeah, well.
But the good news is, right now, versus New Mexico State, despite New Mexico State getting a 3-0 start in the top of the first inning, you just felt, oh boy, here we go. Texas Tech rattled off an 11-2 run, and New Mexico State has just played another run in the 7th. So Texas Tech is up 11-6, bottom of the 8th.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
I have just full transparency. Not that anybody cares. I've stopped scoring the games this season.
Well, you can use that book next year.
I stopped keeping up with stats. So I couldn't tell you starting pitching stats versus guys that pitch both out of the pen or the starting standpoint. What the offensive numbers look like. But offensively tonight, besides the first inning, you scored in every inning. 3 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, 3 in the sixth. Didn't score in the seventh. And you were up to bat now, bottom of the 8th.
Well, and I don't know if they've made any changes to the batting order since the game started, but every batter on here has gotten on base or has a hit today. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one has at least one.
Look at that. Jace Souza is in the lineup tonight.
You love to see it.
Connor Mohan was your starting pitcher tonight. 5 runs on 5 hits, all 5 earned in 3 innings.
Yeah. Not the best.
You got to think something's got to change at the pitching, but
well, it's so inconsistent.
It is. It's maddeningly inconsistent.
Even by the pitcher, they can have a really great day and a really terrible one, back to back.
Yeah, and then so you're playing a game right now versus New Mexico State. You've got a handsome lead right there, but not out of the question. The game is not over. And then tomorrow's game versus New Mexico, canceled.
Yeah. They had a really good weather report, I guess, on Monday to cancel Wednesday's game. And I don't know, weather reports are getting more reliable. But I think tomorrow is going to be just about a perfect day in Lubbock, Texas. So I'm not really sure what happened there. Maybe they just gave up, because I think this was one they have already postponed, and just thought, now we're good.
Yeah, you got 5 straight days of sun and high in the low 70s.
Yeah, and maybe Tech was slightly bitter from getting absolutely throttled in Albuquerque.
In Abernathy?
Abernathy, too. That's how far those balls went, I think.
Yeah.
Hit them all the way to Abernathy. Chillicothe. Kittiquay.
So You mentioned upcoming home series this weekend versus UCF, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Midweek on the calendar, on the schedule right now, versus ACU. And then on the road, everybody's been clamoring to go on this road trip to take in this ballpark, but on the road at BYU Thursday, Friday, Saturday next week. And then Big 12 tournament time. So you've got 2 Big 12 series left. You mentioned, Michael, with the standings and the opportunity ahead of you to submit yourself into the Big 12 tournament and then go make some noise. But you know who doesn't have to do any work to get in the Big 12 tournament? The softball team.
My goodness.
42-12 currently on the season, 20-4 in Big 12 play. They had gone 6-2 since we last recorded, including 2 run rule victories, and won the Big 12 title.
Yeah, why not?
Number 11 in the country. Couldn't tell you the last time that Texas Tech baseball was ranked.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. So since we recorded, hosted UT Arlington, won 12-3 in 5 innings. Then we hosted third place Arizona State and won that series to clinch the Big 12 title. Went on to defeat ACU in 5 innings, 9-0. And then took the final Big 12 series at BYU this past weekend, 2-1. The Big 12 tournament in softball gets underway. I was going to say kicks off. That's not the right sports analogy. Gets underway tomorrow in Oklahoma City. You will face either, was that Baylor or Kansas?
Correct. Yeah. Have a bye. So they won't play till Thursday.
Sorry. The tournament starts tomorrow. Game 1, Kansas and Baylor. You will play them, the winner of that, Thursday at 1:30. Michael pulled this up. And the regular season, Texas Tech swept both of these teams, swept Baylor in Waco by allowing only 1 run on the 3-game series while outscoring them, 21-1?
Yes.
And then swept Kansas in Lawrence, 9-0 run rule, 14-3, 4-1. So you gave up 4 runs to them while scoring 27-4. Got a great shot there versus the 8 or 9. And then you'll face, assuming you get past Kansas or Baylor, you'll face the winner of Arizona State, 5th place Arizona State or 4th place Oklahoma State on Friday to get you into a shot for the Big 12 title game on Saturday.
Yeah, and Texas Tech, if they get to move past Kansas or Baylor, they defeated Oklahoma State and Arizona State. And we just mentioned the Arizona State one was recently. That's the one that they clinched the Big 12 title. So both of those series, Texas Tech won 2-1 and took the series. But they were both at home for what that's worth. And I like their chances. They may go all the way. They may kind of pull, like we've seen some other Tech teams do in the Big 12 tournaments, of whether it's baseball, basketball, maybe pull some punches a little bit, kind of save some gas for the postseason. But I don't know. I mean, this team seems really competitive, and they might be a team that's going to want a Big 12 title and a Big 12 tournament title, just the way there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Well, yeah, but Arizona won the tournament. Like, no. We won the conference and the tournament. That maybe they're looking for that. So we'll see.
Would love to have that sweep there. Big 12 title hardware.
I would take it.
Anything else softball wise, Michael?
I'm just living in the moment.
We're just rolling right through these. I mean, this is not like peak off season. I mean, obviously baseball and softball are still playing. They're still in their regular season. Um,
Yeah,
I have
peak off season we would have led with food. At
some
least on
kind of
this one
food,
we're
food chart. The rankings of best seafood places in Lubbock, Texas.
there you go.
I have taken in. I wouldn't say more softball than baseball this season, but it's creeping up there because I have not watched a lot of baseball, and I'm watching more and more softball. Um, I've said this before. It is familiar to baseball, but it is its own animal. It's its own sport. It is so fast. The action is so fast. I mean, these are collegiate athletes playing at a high level on a small field. So everything happens in your face in a hurry. And it's just unbelievable. The just the pace, style of the game. Like I admittedly have shared this many times, but have not taken in much college softball. Um, and I shouldn't be surprised, but it's always like you turn it on, like, wow, like this, everything about this is just, it, it's impressive. I don't, it's just, it's like they're playing on the same field size that my 10-year-old's playing on. And I'm not saying like what they're doing is what Grayson and his team are doing is impressive, but like you put collegiate athletes on that same field, that ball's coming at you 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And
everything's 5 times faster.
they're bigger, stronger, faster runners than these 10-year-olds are. Like it just, you can't blink, you'll miss it.
Yeah. And they know the game. They know where to throw the ball. You don't have to throw to first.
Plays at 1. Whoa. Roll 2.
No, they're professional athletes, and you're not kidding, man. That ball comes off the bat, and who knows where it's going to wind up at first base somehow, even though it landed in left field.
Yeah,
that could still happen.
So, great opportunity to take in some high level softball before even the NCAA tournament starts. You got Big 12 tournament starting tomorrow. Texas Tech plays their game 1, technically, on Thursday. So, check it out. And then we'll see where they land in the NCAA tournament. Let's move towards wrapping this thing up, Michael.
Okay, crazy.
Let's start with questions. Let's do questions, and then we'll go to what do we learn. So, you have a question here.
I do.
I don't even know where you're going with this.
My question's basically for you. So, do you have any experience with wrestling, as in participating, high school wrestling, middle school wrestling, anything, anyone in your family, anything like that, any association with it? Because I know friend of the show, Rob Bro, he has I believe a nephew who was an exceptional wrestler and went very far in I believe in state, maybe won.
Mm-hmm.
I should know this, but I don't know this bit of trivia. But I just was wondering if there's any sort of, I'm going somewhere with this, but I just wanted to ask you that first. If you have wrestling in your family or vicinity in any capacity.
The extent of my wrestling exposure was having an older brother and fighting him. And what we did was not wrestle, roughhousing. And I never really got into the professional wrestling, which is different from competitive wrestling.
Yes, right.
But I couldn't, like, I remember playing wrestling video games, and I know that the professional wrestling association, league, whatever it's termed, the acronym has changed several times. Was WWE, WWF, NWA. Like I couldn't tell you when these eras are, what the order was. No, I have no experience wrestling, watching it, or beyond seeing it happen to my face a couple of times. Not myself a wrestler, competitive or otherwise. Why?
Okay, here's where I'm going with this. Neither do I, and I didn't have a sibling to even wrestle with in school. I remember in PE one year we did some wrestling, so some form of organized wrestling. And so I vaguely remember that, but I bring all this up because my lovely 8-year-old daughter, who also does not have a sibling, has heard that the school she goes to is offering a summer wrestling camp, and she is all about it and wants to go.
Really?
And so we
That
showed
surprises me.
her the same, and we showed her some videos. Okay, well here's, because at first she thought it was punching and kicking, like karate or something, and I guess. And we're like, no, 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 that's not what this is. Let's pull up some YouTube clips and show you. And so we found a high school wrestling match, and my wife had it playing on our phone, and we were at dinner just because we were here at the house, but it was during dinner, and we just set it down so she could look at it. And that kid, Spencer, she just watched it as if it was. I mean, like she was focused. She was really close to the phone. She was watching it. She kind of had some commentary as she was watching
Really?
it, and
Wow.
my wife and I kept looking at each other like, are you seeing this? Are you seeing what's happening here?" So it could it it could be a disaster. There's no telling, but she signed up for it, and
You
there's a
never
3-day
know.
camp. There's a 3-day camp this summer, and she seemed very interested in it. And she's always like wanting to wrestle and stuff, but I'm just such an uncoordinated mess, and I don't really. I think even if I had a son, I'd still be like, yeah, I don't know, man. No, I don't think it's that. Uh, she will always try to wrestle my mom, and mom would do that. She would humor her for a while, and then my daughter got kind of like too big and not rough, but you know what I mean, rough. And mom was finally like, yeah, that's no, we're done with this. That's enough.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where that goes. I want to point out one more thing, sports related. She scored a goal this weekend
Nice.
in soccer, and it's just I was speechless when it happened. It was fantastic.
Because the level of competition has continued to skyrocket for her group, right? Like y'all are in some competitive mark, and she was more of like a defender, right?
Well, she kind of floats. So the kid was all over the place in a good way on Saturday. The the bees brought their A game, that's for sure. And man, she does so at 7 position, I wish I could tell you. She pretty much starts, there's 2 defenders behind her and the goalie, and then she starts basically center field.
Okay.
But she's allowed to kind of go wherever the ball is. That's what our coaches coach her to do. And if the ball's coming back towards our goal, she needs to run back. And if we're on a drive trying to score, she can run up and help them. So I mean, that kid was bouncing all up and down that field. I was really proud of her. And then it was like the slowest goal you could imagine. And technically it was probably credited to another teammate because the ball was going so slow. Another teammate saw it and like kicked it in. It would have gone in, but it was one of those where you're just that's fine. No one really cares. It
So it
counts.
was going
It
to
counts
go
in my
in,
head. Oh, absolutely, it was going to go in.
but she wasn't the last one to touch it.
No, so
So
it
she got
technically
robbed of her goal. That sucks.
she did, but the other girl's a really good teammate, and I mean,
She just ensured she got the goal.
that's all she did. It was a wonderful assist, and
I
everyone.
got you, little McDonald.
Yeah, even the coach came by to me like, "Hey, That was her goal. You know that, right? It was like, oh yeah, we're cool here. We're good.
Nobody's taking that from me.
No, no, I will never. I will never. So yeah, that on 7-on-7, that was her first one because she's
Nice. Well, congratulations, Queen Bees, and
it's a big day. Big day.
Little McDonald scoring a goal.
Yes.
Well, I'll make a connection here to baseball. Grayson's team is started out rough, and here's the thing. We've talked about it before. In his age group, it is the lower division, skill wise, or also age wise, of the upper division of Little League. Right, like he's in the majors division, just 10, 11, 12-year-olds. But it's the younger subdivision of it, or also developmental side of this group, right? So within this division, there are 5 teams, and they're massive because they couldn't have a coach to field a 6th team. 15 players. It's just unbelievably unfortunate. Within this division, Michael, there's one good team, and then everybody else. Like, how are there 5 teams? Sorry, 4 of the 5 teams that are like meh, and one really good team. Tell me how that worked out. But our little Express on a good night can be pretty competitive. We played the number 1 team tonight, and when we see the Flapjacks on the schedule, there's no expectation about winning that game. We're just going in like, okay,
respectable.
Let's go play baseball. Let's just go play baseball.
Yeah.
They lost tonight 18-1. And it wasn't like, what's really unfortunate about these games is there are so few balls put into play. Like, you would think a team scores 18 runs, like they're hitting the ball all over the field. It's a lot of walks and a lot of wild pitches and pass balls and stolen bases. And team, like, there'll be a walk, and 2 pitches later, that runner's on third base.
Oh my gosh.
Just waiting for one more wild pitch or ball to get away from the catcher, and they're scoring. And that's what happens for a lot of the runs in this. Now, they got a couple of really nice hits tonight. We also got a couple of really nice hits. But like, when you time it up, we scored 1 run tonight. Okay. That doesn't matter. Grayson's on the mound last. He's not necessarily like the closer, because we're down. What was it? 15-1 when Grayson took the mound. Bases loaded. So like, every little thing that he did wrong, that he struggled with, cost a run. Like, he didn't have a lot of time to warm up, and he didn't get to warm up with the catcher. He had to warm up with somebody else that kept diving out of the way. So he didn't have a great warm up. So it took him a second to get in his groove on the field. Hit his first batter, which it happens. Walked a few guys. What drove me crazy, and this is the one time I got into medium tepid water last season as a fan, was yelling at a third base coach who was running the score up. I did it again tonight, and it wasn't as aggressive, but like, okay, the score is 15-1. Time has expired, but they are the visiting team, so we have to get through there at bat. We have to bat last. And with a 14-run lead, they are still stealing bases and scoring runs on pass balls, like unnecessary. Like, it's not like the bases are loaded and we walk a run in. No, it's like, guys up to bat. Grayson has a wild pitch. It gets past the catcher, and they're stealing home. So it happens a couple of times. I say nothing to the coach. There's another dad next to me. He's like, they could just be going station to station, but I guess not loud enough for them to hear. And I was like, yeah, they could be, but they're not. Again, loud enough for them to hear us. Because again, it's not like very clear this team is head and shoulders above everybody else in the division. They're going to win it. Whatever. They're going to win it running away. The race is for second place. Probably because it's Grace on the mound. Okay.
Yeah.
He extends the lead 16 runs to then 17 runs. I was like, really, coach? Because 16 run lead wasn't enough for you? And then he turns around and said, well, if the kids want to run, I'm going to let them run. I was like, yeah, and you're the adults. And then he turns around and I don't say anything else. He doesn't say anything else. Grayson then strikes out the next batter to end their at bat. I was like, yeah, suck it.
Get some.
But I was just like, come on, man. Like, it's unnecessary. You're up 15 runs in a division you're all going to run away with. The time is expired. We're trying to get our last at bat in so we can end this game, get off the field. And you're running the score up. And then when you get called out on it, you're like, well, if the kids want to do it, it's like, you need to teach them the game. Like, the opportunity to run and steal bases was there. But like, at this point in the game, this is not it, man. I have also had an issue with this team before. Their head coach, this was last season, kept telling me, no, sorry, I guess it was two seasons ago, telling me as a coach on the field that I needed to have my first baseman not catch the ball coming to first base on the bag. So like, right, like your first baseman was supposed to catch the ball and tag the base for the force out at first. He kept trying to tell me and my first baseman, no, you need to be off the bag. It's like, of course you would like our first baseman to be off the bag. Like, no.
Yeah, clear running path, sure.
So I like, he was telling us, and I didn't respond. I didn't engage with it. But when he started engaging with my players, like, no. So that was a couple years ago. I don't have a problem with him so much anymore. I just I've harbored those bad feelings. And then this guy tonight was kind of a douche. I was like, but our little Express, competitive any other night. They are in the thick of it. Could be competitive for second place. I'm not even gonna look at the standings. It's not good. We can beat anybody else at any given time, just not this one team. And so here's the other thing. I mentioned it, and this will be the last thing on Little League Baseball because I've been here for like 20 minutes. Because the teams are so big, and because the Express were struggling offensively tonight, Grayson got one at bat tonight in a 4-inning game. Man. He got one at bat. I think we had 3 players get 2 at bats because I think we had most of our team there tonight, which sounds great. Like, oh, that's great. Like all the kids are there. It's like on a 15-player team, when you bat the entire lineup, that means 12 kids get 1 chance to get up to bat. So it's tough on games like tonight. Okay. Do you want to go first on what do we learn?
Yeah, mine'll be.
You've got 2, so I'll.
They'll be about food. So the first one, found myself in Muleshoe again for work last week, and so took the opportunity to treat myself to Leal's for lunch.
Treat yourself.
Learned a couple things. One, Big Red is on the menu.
Good Texan treat there.
What a choice. What a choice to make. And number 2, this was a Thursday. I always like to peruse the specials, just see what's going on. So the Thursday lunch special was shredded chicken enchiladas with covered in a tomatilla sauce and cheese. Now, I know tomatilla may have some detractors here and there, but brother, this was delicious. This was really fresh. It was tangy. It was flavorful. It was exactly what you'd want in a tomatilla sauce. And so when you wash it down with a Big Red, it's a big win. That was a big win on a Thursday.
It
And
would
then
not have been my choice, but I'm
oh,
glad it worked out.
I understand. The other thing, we are celebrating Mother's Day a week early. My wife's going to be on a trip next week, so it was her idea to head over to Denton Valley Farms, which is south of Clyde. So not quite 3 hours from here, about 2 hours, 45 minutes. So we went there on Sunday morning, left early. The place opens at 10. And at Denton Valley Farms, this time of year, kind of one of the main things you can do is go pick some strawberries. And so that was really what my wife wanted to do. And the three of us went and just thoroughly enjoyed ourselves picking strawberries. We got at least 3 pounds between the three of us.
Nice.
We were out there for like an hour. But then there's so much more to do at this place. There's a petting zoo. There's all these playground areas for kids to play around on. There's, some, it's hard to explain, but they're games that kind of old timey games that you've probably seen small versions of, but they're really big versions of, where you're trying to get a ball to go up this ramp, and it's two rods, and I don't know, and you're trying to get anyway, they were really fun. We really enjoyed it. There was a little zip line that wasn't anything crazy, that the kids could kind of just do themselves, and some slides, and homemade ice cream, great little gift shop. So yeah, they had homemade vanilla and homemade strawberry ice cream, which we didn't find out until we left, that you could get like a swirl of it.
Oh, that's
I know.
Unfortunate.
So the strawberry was, we tried both, and that was fantastic. But anyway, if you are in the Abilene area, or in between Abilene and Lubbock or something, or Dallas and Lubbock at some point, head on down to Denton Valley Farms. That place is awesome. It sounds like they do stuff year round. I think they have a corn maze out there during the fall, and pumpkins, and kind of a haunted hayride thing. And I think they have for Christmas, they have a kind of a Christmas light thing, where you, not a drive-through one, but a walk-through one with a ton of lights. We could see a gingerbread house way off in the background. So they kind of have a little bit of everything covered during the season. There's ducks wandering around. There's goats wandering around. It's just, man, it was a really cool place.
I've never heard of this place.
We hadn't either. My wife was just determined. I remember she was looking at it a while back when it was kind of turning into gardening season. Like, man, I really want to go pick strawberries somewhere. And she found this place, and it was definitely worth the trip. So yeah, we were in the car by 7, probably left there at 1:30. Grabbed some Whataburger outside Abilene.
Nice.
Back in Lubbock by 4:30. I mean,
that's wild. So we probably would have been, I say just missed you. No, because we drove back on Monday. We were also out of town this weekend. We went down to Corpus Christi.
Yes.
Took off Friday afternoon, stayed the night in San Antonio, and then drove the rest of the way down on Saturday. And then just had ourselves a little beach weekend. We were on the beach Saturday, a big chunk of the day on Sunday, and then drove back Monday. We had our weekend, like we had games scheduled, we had things scheduled, and then everything like out of our control, just like games got rescheduled, things got moved, and like literally our weekend just opened up, and we're like, let's go.
Yeah.
So we took Grayson out of school a little early on Friday. He missed school on Monday. Couldn't care less. I mean, as a 5th grader with 2 weeks to go, I mean, there's not much going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say that. He has another MAP test, which is their standardized testing these days. It was TOS for when you and I were in school, and then it was TAX, and now it's MAP.
It's not STAR?
STAR. Yeah, there was STAR testing.
I think
know. It's
MAP
just
might just be something our school does. I'm not positive.
MAP, STAR. I don't know. It's another one of their. It's a subject based standardized test. He didn't miss that. Um. Anyways, yeah, we went down there, had a good old time. Everybody else got a little bit sun kissed. I feel like I avoided it. Um. Hayden probably had it the worst because he pulled his sleeves up and like he was wearing a long sleeve rash guard, but then like while we were there, pulled his sleeves up and got a little extra sun. Never bothered him. Um, anyways, I may have to invest in a bucket cap. I used to make fun of you for it, but I don't know. It's I'm getting to be that age where
Well,
I may do it. But
there's a I'm getting to be at the age. Well, I've been there for a while, but if I can wear something to avoid wearing sunscreen, because no one likes wearing sunscreen. It's not like I enjoy it, but man, I was outside a lot this weekend, so I wore long sleeve t-shirts when I was outside, those fishing shirts, and wore my
big
bucket
fan.
hats,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't apply much sunscreen, and that was fine because I had the clothing to take care of it. I'd much rather do that.
You know what the worst part about wearing sunscreen, Michael, is like the next day realizing you missed a spot.
There's that, and some of the sunscreen now, kind of the same thing. Realizing after you've taken a shower that you somehow still didn't scrub it off. I swear, some of the stuff we buy now, I'll take a shower and I'll scrub my legs or my arms with my loofah or my rag or whatever I'm using, and then you get out and you dry off and you realize, why does my why are my legs still sticky? What is
What kind of
it's still
sunscreen are you
here?
buying?
I don't know, radioactive stuff.
Like, I'm wearing stuff like, I mean,
The
copper
stuff in the
tone or
yeah,
whatever, the orange and blue bottle, like it SPF 50, whatever. And that's high for me. I don't take like to wear that high. And like, I feel like after a couple of hours, even just sitting there without even like being in the water, it's just like, okay, I feel like it's gone now. It's either I've sweated off or it's absorbed all the way in or whatever. Not so much so that like it's persisting on my skin following my activities outside and then a shower.
maybe I've built an immunity.
Maybe you're just like, I don't even know. I couldn't even. It's gotta be the product, whatever you're wearing. You've got to. You're so invested in taking care of your skin. You've
Sure.
probably got like some real deal stuff and not just
No,
lotion with
I don't.
some sun tint in it.
I
But
buy off the shelf. It's the last time I bought it was the orange stuff with the blue lid,
yeah,
and
that's what we
I
use.
didn't. I ran out of that, and so I thought, well, this time I'll try the blue stuff. That's the
Hmm.
copper tone or whatever it is. So that's the one that's been sticking to me. That, and then my wife bought she's got a spray SPF 50. I think it's Beach Bum actually. Oddly enough, I think maybe that's the one. That one might be the one that's just really hard to shower off somehow.
I've not had really good success with the sprays. I always tend to I miss more with the spray.
Oh, same. I only use
Um,
those like for soccer games
yeah, I don't
because
know.
I'm not going to be out there long enough. I'll get out there and I'll throw some spray on my alabaster legs and call it good.
Yeah. Um, it is interesting to take in the three different personalities of my children at the beach. So Grayson and Hayden immediately head to the water. Finney, on the other hand, wants nothing to do with the water. She was more than happy to sit next to me and play in the sand the entire time. She and mom built sand castles the entire time. We would go to the water and she'd be like, let's go to the ocean. And then we'd get there and like she would see a wave come in. Nope, I'm done. That's all I want. I just want to go see it. I'm done. She would take off running and then scream at us like, "You're gonna get wet. It's gonna get you." Like, yeah, I know that's the point. And she was
How old
not
is she
okay with.
now?
She turned 2 in February, so
She
she's
turned 2. Okay. When we took Ida her first beach trip, she was about to turn 3, and she about got away from us. Like
Hmm.
we just like, oh, it was Thanksgiving and we had a big family thing. We rented a beach house on the on the
That's the way to do it.
on Florida, and so my mother-in-law was from the area and all this stuff, had scouted a great place. Anyway, it was fantastic. And so we were just thought, well, we'll just go take a walk on the beach. And she just ran towards the water, and like her diaper was soaked because she was still wearing, she was 3. She was
Mhm.
still wearing them, and her diaper was immediately soaked and all this stuff. And we were like, what?
What are you
None
doing?
of us we didn't have beach clothes on. None of us, we thought we were just going to walk and kind of show her. And it's cold, it's Thanksgiving, it's November. It's not really getting in, but she was made a beeline. So it kind of sounded like your boys on that one.
Yeah, they and then so Grayson was wearing goggles, and he wanted to see underwater, and like the water was shallow enough and kind of rough enough that like you weren't going to see much. Um, but take a big deep breath in, and then float face down. I was like, you can't do that, man. Like I have no idea if you're drowning or if you're just looking underwater. Like I need you upright.
This, this is nerve wracking for dear old dad.
Like I'm watching you from the beach, from the safety of land, and you're out there in the surf. And I was like, I have no idea what you're doing. So I told him, like, please don't do that. Hayden was running back and forth. It didn't seem to bother him so much. Like if he had like the little chest floaty on, puddle jumper or whatever those things are called or not. He was just out there running around, splashing around. I was like, you're getting a little too comfortable out there, man. As a middle child tends to do. But again, Finney wouldn't have it. The other thing about our trip, Michael, and I'm bound and determined to expand my taste buds to include seafood. So I'll save this part for after the episode for just Michael. But I was down there. We went to a restaurant Saturday night called Docks. If you've been to Corpus and the island, it's on the island, but on the bay side, not the Gulf side. So the interior side facing the state of Texas, not the ocean. Docks on the water, fantastic little restaurant. We were there Saturday night for dinner. I ordered Cajun fries as an appetizer for the table, cheese fries, bacon, crawfish tails, Cajun seasoning. One, Grayson was picking the crawfish. I was like, you gotta stop that, man. Like those are for everybody. I was enjoying it. I was enjoying the crawfish tails, and not like in the shell, like they were already shelled on the fries. And then Samantha and I shared an order of bacon wrapped, cream cheese stuffed, grilled shrimp. And brother, those were fantastic.
I feel like
I've
that's a thing. Have you? That seems like a thing that you would have made on the grill at least 10 times.
I probably will now. Um, enough cream cheese that like it kind of changes the texture of shrimp a little bit. So like there's that. Like it wasn't like a jalapeno popper amount of cream cheese. It was like a taste. And then bacon wrapped, and then it was grilled, and it was like the way they grilled it. Like there was enough char on it. Like there was some crunch to it. There was grill flavor to it. The shrimp weren't off-putting. I have a problem with the variety of texture in seafood and the smell. I
Sure.
had
Yeah.
none of those issues with this dish. I was like, this is fantastic. I loved the crawfish tails. I had um I had those bacon wrapped shrimp. And then when there was another time when I had this was a different time. I had a fried basket, and I got to choose. I had 3 different fried items to go in the basket, and I got hush puppies, of course, because who doesn't love a little fried cornbread? Um, Catfish fillet and popcorn shrimp. Catfish of the 3 was my least favorite. Popcorn shrimp was fantastic. Hush puppies, of course, it's not seafood, but um, there was something in it. It wasn't just cornmeal. It was, I think they had something in it that was fishy.
something.
It was good.
Something. Well, there you go.
And like
You're
I said,
broadening your horizons. You're getting there.
like it wasn't offensive. It just wasn't my favorite. And for whatever reason, so we have a Cajun food truck based out of our neighborhood. And if you're in the LBK foodies group, LeBlanc's Cajun Cooking, that dude lives in our neighborhood and cooks for my neighborhood 2-3 times a week. And he's been doing this since, I feel like since Lent started. So like 2 months ago now. 3 times a week, he's got this pop-up going. I'm like, dude, I want to go have some like a seafood boil. He does crawfish and shrimp, sausage and potatoes and corn and crab, all the things. Like, I want to go do it. I want to go try it. I want to go try it. And like literally every time that he's got a time set up, we can go do it. Either he gets rained out or we have something come up. And then he got kicked out of being able to sell within the neighborhood. Someone like reported him for something. So now he's like, he set up at the daycare across the street. I don't know. It's wild. Our neighborhood's wild. It's like, I want to do it. It's like, I've never felt so strongly about trying seafood before, but here we are. So that's it, man.
That's the place to go. That's the place to go. You know, if you're going to do it, go where you can smell the sea.
And that, I've been to the beach before and the smell's been off-putting, and I've no issue this time. No problem.
Look at you.
I'm a grown man.
You're going to be looking at timeshares before we know it.
Maybe.
You're a beach bum.
Beach bum in the making. That'll do it for us on the 23 Personnel Podcast. Softball getting started in the Big 12 tournament on Thursday. Game 1 for the Red Raiders will be Thursday. Big 12 tournament starts Wednesday. Baseball, 2 conference series left before baseball Big 12 tournament. And then off-season roster building for football and basketball. We will be back here in a couple of weeks. For Michael, I'm Spencer. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you for listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast. Help us out by subscribing, rating the show, and leaving a review. Follow us on Twitter at 23 Personnel, Spencer at Punt Suck, and Michael at Michael_LBK. Be sure to catch the next episode. And until then, guns up and let the tortillas fly.